As you may have seen from the announcement, gentlemen, S.Seia and S.Hagsumi will be released soon. This banner provides a total of 100 free pulls, meaning you will need to spend fewer resources to spark at least one student. You may be wondering which banner should be prioritized, and the answer is clearly S.Seia. Regarding S.Hagsumi, if you do not place importance on final restriction release battles, she will likely see limited use. She may become more relevant in future content, but at this point, it is difficult to predict when or if that will happen. S.Seia is a striker support who increases X skill damage for allied students. In simple terms, her role is comparable to Kisuki's X skill, although her buff value is slightly lower. However, this is largely offset by the longer duration of her buff. In most scenarios, the slightly lower value is not a significant drawback. With UE40, her X skill buff duration can reach 29 seconds, allowing players to use X skills up to 3 times without losing the buff. Her basic skill provides healing to one ally. While the healing is not particularly strong, it can still be useful in critical situations. Her enhanced skill improves her healing output, while enhanced skill plus unlocked at UE40 further increases the duration of her X skill buff by approximately 4.7 seconds beyond the listed value. Her sub-skill increases her attack speed. Although this may appear minor, it is important because her basic skill activation depends on the speed of her normal attacks. Overall, S.Seia has very few drawbacks. The main limitation is her status as a striker, making her vulnerable to damage. Her defense type may also restrict her effectiveness in certain raids, but these are situational concerns. While she shares similarities with Kisuki, her usage strategy differs slightly. S.Seia can be used in most content in much the same way as Kisuki or S.Hagsumi. She is effective in raids such as Kaiten FX, though her positioning may cause early deaths in some cases. Hieronymus, Hud, Goz, Chased, Shirokuro. In practice, she is viable in nearly all raid content. S.Hagsumi overview. In contrast, S.Hagsumi currently offers limited value. She may be useful for Tiphareth heavy armored content, but outside of that scenario, her applicability in other raids is minimal at present. She could become useful in future Grand Assault battles against heavy armored bosses such as Gregorius or Pirorodzilla. If that occurs, having her available could be beneficial, though this remains speculative. However, if a Gregorius Grand Assault does occur, Irie and Makoto would still be preferable, perhaps Kurokage Grand Assault heavy armored as well, although this is still uncertain. S.Hagsumi functions as a piercing AoE DPS with critical rate and critical damage buffs, provided by her basic skill and sub-skill. These buffs are stack based, with a maximum of 4 stacks, granting up to 35% critical rate and 24% critical damage at full stacks. I genuinely do not have precise information regarding these numbers, but at maximum stacks, the critical rate increase appears to be around 6%. Whether this is considered good is debatable, but it may have some value. Let's say this, if she have critical rate at 55%, and after that gaining maximum stacks, then her critical rate would be 62% at max, without other critical rate buff. However, her critical damage increase has significant value, with up to 50% critical damage buff. If her base critical damage is 250%, then at maximum stacks it could reach 350% or more, allowing her critical hits to deal roughly 3 times the normal damage. That said, do you really need to know the exact values? Not necessarily. It is enough to understand that critical hits deal substantial damage. If we compare her with other striker piercing AoE students, Yuzu has the highest critical damage, reaching up to 800% when fully buffed. However, her X skill damage is relatively low compared to S.Hagsumi, mainly due to her low stability, although her X skill costs 1 less. S.Yukari, on the other hand, has the highest maximum AoE damage, reaching up to 4 million when all hits crit. Even so, her critical damage is around 450%, and her X skill costs 1 more than S.Hagsumi's. S.Hagsumi, with approximately 570% critical damage, can deal almost 4 million damage on full critical hits while maintaining an optimal X skill cost of 5, making her comparatively efficient. You may now be wondering, How S.Yukari is able to deal up to 4 million damage despite having lower critical damage than S.Hasumi. This is primarily due to the piercing effectiveness granted by her enhanced skill class, which contributes significantly to her overall damage output. However, to make S.Hagsumi gaining a single stack requires 4x skills, making it unrealistic to reach maximum stacks in short battles. This design strongly suggests that she is intended primarily for final restriction release battles. For this reason, while she may have niche value, there is no guarantee that she will be important in future content. At present, S.Seia should be your primary target. If the outcome is unfavorable, using the spark on S.Seia is the safer option. If S.Hagsumi is your favorite character, or if you were pulling for S.Seia and reached spark while obtaining her early, then using the spark to obtain S.Hagsumi is perfectly reasonable. Most importantly, ensure you retain sufficient Pyrex for the Fest banner, as those students will significantly impact future content progression. Lastly, a Battle Pass feature will be available. The premium version provides additional Pyrex rewards and exclusive furniture, the Mika's Eggs Chamber that is. This means that Mika's Eggs Chamber cannot be obtained for free under any circumstances, similar to exclusive furniture obtained through merchandise purchases. Meanwhile, the free tier offers archive tickets and a variety of lower tier materials. And that should be all. As always, Godspeed.